Hello, in this video we are going to take the really simple battle sequence that we developed and we're going to use a class to kind of store the information about the player. Now there's a lot of additional things you can do here, but I really just want to set up the basic anatomy of the class and get you used to the calls and how you would access the information. So what a class is it's a blueprint that allows you to make multiple objects. And usually you can think of it really simply as a more complex variable. So, for example, here I have like player health, and I have I might have a bunch of information that describe the player for the user. I can take all those variables and put them into one class, and that kind of packages them together nicely. Now, in this example, I'm only going to use this player health. Depending on time, I might add another one. But the idea is we can take really complex variables and make them using classes. So to do this, I'm going to make a new class here. And I'm going to call it player. This isn't going to have a main method in it. So I hit finish here. So let's take a look at player. So here we have player, and notice there's no main. So what I'm going to do now, close up those. So what I'm going to do is instead of actually making a variable p health, I'm going to make a player variable called p. I can do that now because I have this thing called a player class, and I'm going to use a special term called new player, which calls the constructor to make the player the very first time. So currently there's nothing in the player. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a field. And a field is an attribute that all players would have. So in this case, all players are going to have some health information. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a constructor. A constructor is a special method that's always public, and so it always starts public, followed by the name of the class. In this case, it's player, and I can pass it a parameter. And it's a special method that is always invoked the first time you create an object. So you see this line here. Let's actually do this. This line here where I say player p equals new player, this is actually calling the constructor. What it's doing now is it's giving me an error though, because this constructor takes a single parameter and I'm not passing anything to it. So let's pass 100 in there. Problem solved. And so what happens is this is going to pass 100 into the constructor, and health will get the value of 100. So what this means I can do now is anywhere where I have p health, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that variable. And anywhere where I have p health, what I'm going to do, you can just scroll through here, and the place we have it is right there, is what we're going to do is we're going to say p.health. So take the p object and access the health variable. Take the p object, now the health variable. Again, on the surface, this might seem really kind of excessive for what we want to do, but the point, semicolon, but the point I'm trying to make is not about this example, but it's actually about some later programming pieces. If I run this now, you'll notice the program runs exactly the same. There's my program. Oh, what am I missing? I think I put p health somewhere. Scroll down. P health. No p health. So I have to say p.health. Run this now. I missed one. Line 95. There it is. So notice anywhere that I have p health, I have to go p.health. So I'm going to take the instance of the class player called p, and I'm going to access the health variable. And now it runs exactly the same. So I'm just going to punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick. Who's going to win? Punch, kick. I win. Okay. No difference. Now, one of the things we always do with classes is we encapsulate. I mean, encapsulate for a variety of reasons. Really simply put, it protects this data, meaning you really can control who can modify it. And so whenever you make a class, you're always going to make your fields private. But that actually generates a problem. Notice that when I make this private, I now get an error everywhere that I have access p health. And because what this means is this variable can only be accessed now inside this class. So I can't access p health directly like that because it says, nope, this is private, you can't get access to it. So how we solve that problem is we create an accessor method. So I'm going to create now the instance methods. So instance methods are methods that allow us to access and modify attributes of an object. So this is going to be public int get health. And so all this is going to do is return the health. That's it. return health. So now what happens is here I'm trying to access the health, but what I can do is I can say p dot get health. So what this does is this says take my object p and get the health. Same here. Get this object p and get the health. And so easily fix here. I just say p dot get health. Now if I scroll up a little bit here, these other situations, the problem here is I'm actually trying to modify the value of health. So how do we solve this problem? So this is called an accessor method because it accesses a specific field and gives it back to us. Now we're going to write what's called a mutator method. So public void, meaning it returns nothing. And we're going to make this change health. And it's going to take an int h. And what this is going to do is it's going to say health is equal to health minus h. So what this means is that if I pass a value into this function, it's going to subtract that amount from the health. So here what I do is I say p dot change health. And what I pass into there is the attack, which is the amount of damage that I've done to the player. So this takes the object p, it invokes change health, and it passes attack into here. And that's really all there is to a basic class. Again, you might say to yourself, well, this is a lot of additional code to do that, to do that simple thing. And you're right in this case. But notice what I could do now is I could actually make a second player called P2. I can make a third player called P3. Each of these players, I can give them 1,000 health. Each of these instances of the player are using this blueprint to build all the information about them. Now let's add one more piece to this. Let's say, for example, that we want the player to enter their name. Welcome to the battle. So we're going to say something like system.out.print. What is your name? Okay. And we're going to say, we're going to make a temporary variable for now called name, and name is equal to win.nextLine. So what this is going to do is it's going to take a variable from the user, which is a string, and store the name. So we need a temp variable, string, name equals empty. And so now what I'm going to do is think about this. This name stores the information about the player. So what I can do now is I can come here, and the name is going to be a field. So I'm going to make another private field, which is a string called name. And now what I need to do is when I've taken the input for their name, I need to pass this value into this class and set that variable. So I'm going to make a public void set name, and it's going to take a string called n. And whatever I pass to it is name is equal to n. So once I've taken this input for their name in a temporary variable called name, I say p.setName, and I pass it name. So what I can do now is I've now given the player health and a name, and I can pull that out whenever I want. So I could do something like, you could do name, choose attack, right? So it says, Paul, choose attack. But again, I don't want to use this temporary variable name. I want to use the name that is contained inside here. So how do I do that? Again, I can't do p.name because when I do p.name, you'll notice that what it gives you is an error. It says the field player name is not visible, and that's because it's private. So we're going to make a public string get name. And all this is going to do is return name, and that's it. So p.getName. And so now when I run my program, what is your name? Paul. Paul, choose your attack. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. I win. Again, this is very quick. I really just want you to see the basic anatomy of a class and how you can use it. What's really important when you look at this is to recognize that what we're setting up here is a really simple example, and in fact is a little bit of overkill. But understanding the structure is going to be helpful with some other programming projects later on. I hope this helped. Have a wonderful day.